It is time, my friends, to wake up and Barca. Good morning to you all. It is time, like I said, to catch up on the news and with each other. We've got Culers from around the world here to catch up on the news and have a conversation. This is Wake Up in Barca. We do this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If this is your first time here on the channel, welcome to the undefeated community. Go ahead and subscribe so that you can be part of the conversation while we catch up on the news. We're going to talk about some potential transfer rumors, even though it's October. How ridiculous is that? But apparently that's all the media wants to talk about. We'll take a look up ahead to the weekend, to the match against Valencia, and we'll talk all things Barcelona as they come up conversationally. Before we get into all of that, my friends, let's go ahead and get this party started the right way.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuning in to the undefeated Mustache John.
All right, my friend. So first things first, reaction to the thumbnail. It's a tester. It's a teaser. It's one of those. What do you think? We've got same font, same images, except I changed up the background. I tried to make it a little bright, sunny day. I'm not going to say that comment out loud because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But you're not wrong, I guess. Vipula hates the new thumbnail. Ahmed says, hi, it's been a long time since I've been to Wake Up in Barca because of school. Well, welcome, Ahmed. Glad to have you back, sir. Hassan, hello. Levi's here with us, of course. Afif, hello, hello. I'm doing all right. How are you, sir? Hola to Novan, and welcome. I don't believe we've met yet. Welcome to the community. Vipula says Barcelona had a training match today against UL Cucorella and Aguero scored. Okay, we'll look into that. Aguero is back. Okay, shall we start with that? Shall we start with Aguero news? And we'll jump over here. Kun Aguero news. Let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? Shall we? I think we shall. It's time for Dembele and Aguero. Sergio Aguero and Dembele return to Barcelona training. Aguero, Dembele. Let's see if we can get something from Dego. Dembele and Aguero train for part of the session with the squad. I'm not seeing anything about a training session where he scores. What was the team that you said? UL Cucorella? Well, that's not in English. All right, let's go back to Aguero news, and we'll jump into Espin, the magazine. Barcelona handed boost in the attack as Dembele and Ousmane. Guys, I'll wake up. Don't worry. I'll wake up. Dembele and Aguero start training. I did see that that headline there on Barcelona's webpage of them returning to training. So here's what we got. Barcelona's floundering attack was giving a much-needed boost on Monday as forwards Ousmane Dembele and Sergio Aguero returned to training following long injury layoffs. Yeah, you could say that a few times about both of them. Even though they're coming back, never mind. We don't need to be negative. I was gonna be pretty pessimistic there. We don't need to take a turn to negative town. I'm sure they'll be back. They'll be back for the rest of the season. No more injuries moving forward. I'm sure. Oh, you guys want to talk about Sterling? We'll talk about Sterling. Aguero, but we'll finish this article first. Aguero, who joined Barca as a free agent in the close season after a decade. That sentence doesn't make sense. Aguero, who joined Barcelona as a free agent in the close of the season? In the closing season after a decade. That sentence doesn't make any sense, you guys. I swear I'm reading it right. Yet to make a debut, yada yada. Both players participated in a section of the training yesterday, according to Barca's official Twitter account, but still need to be given the medical all clear before they can be made available for selection by coach Ronald Koeman. The Catalans host Valencia on Sunday. Pause right there. We will be doing a live watch party for the match against Valencia on Sunday 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Go ahead and convert that for your time, but we will be doing a live show here. So then they host Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League, yada, yada, and then we have Real Madrid after that. So, friends, I don't expect them to play against Valencia, actually. If they are just coming back for part of the first team training, 6 days away from that match, maybe one of them gets onto the pitch. Neither is going to start. Neither is going to get a tremendous amount of time. Let's see what else. All right, shall we talk about Sterling? I don't think it's going to happen. I do not think it's going to happen. We can see if there's any news about it. But these are all rumors, folks. Keep in mind, we are still 2.5 months away from a transfer window actually being open. Barcelona don't want to swap their euros for sterling, which would make sense. The Man City man would be a panic buy. All right. Though there's still a couple of months until the winter transfer window opens. Maybe I just can't read today. Maybe that's what's going on, folks. Okay. Though there's still a couple of months until the winter transfer window opens for business, Barcelona have been heavily linked with Manchester City wide man Raheem Sterling. The 26-year-old was in remarkable form for England in the Euro 2020 championship, but has fallen completely out of favor under Pep Guardiola. Perhaps he was always going to be the fall guy at Man City once Jack Grealish arrived. If there's one thing that the former Aston Villa stalwart has over his contemporary, it's an end product. When Grealish is in possession, there's anticipation that something will happen, and invariably it does. For all the goals that Sterling scored in England this summer, there were a handful of occasions where he went down blind alleys with the ball despite having teammates in close proximity. I agree with that. I really do, actually. And that's probably my number one hesitancy in bringing in Sterling is finishing in that final third. If we thought Griezmann was bad in the 6-yard box, Sterling takes it to the next level. Barcelona fans would throw an absolute fit with the number of times that Sterling just shanks it, just puts it off frame, just doesn't get his head up to find the pass. I don't think it would be tolerated. I really don't. Particularly with where the club is right now, I don't think we can handle another frustrating player like that. So that on top of his wages, my goodness, the wages. We don't need to be bleeding money like that. We just unloaded a lot of our salary. We don't need to just be adding that in with a player like Sterling. So I'm going to say pass. I'm going to say don't panic buy, even if it's on a loan. The wages alone. Don't do it. No to Sterling at Barcelona. What do we think, folks? Conjunction function this morning. I need something, Kudas. I need some kind of pick-me-up, clearly. I have yet to shake out the cobwebs today. Levi says, so why would we get him? Don't know. And again, it's probably very little truth to these rumors, I would suspect. It's October. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? I try not to pay attention to these things. And really, if I wasn't doing this morning show, I would not really be reacting much to transfer rumors right now. So everything that's said on Wake Up in Barca between the months of, when does the transfer window end? August to December. August to November. December, we can start taking some of that legitimately, but right now it's October. None of this really means anything at all. Yes, Araujo picked up an injury for Uruguay. He is headed back to Barcelona. We'll probably talk about that here shortly. It would be a good Sterling and Aguero link. I don't know why you say that. I know that they have history together. I know that they can put a lot of goals together, but we know the limitations of Sterling for the reasons that I've already said. Grim, what's up, dude? Asked if we ever considered that Isaac fella from Sweden. Yes, Isaac has been on the radar at Barcelona for several years. I'm not super impressed by him. I know he's young, so he still has room to grow. But every time that we play against, who does he play for? Is it Espanyol? Who does he play for? Nope, not Chris Isaac. That's hilarious. Brought up Chris Isaac. Oh, Real Sociedad. That's who he plays. I was seeing white and blue. So, yeah, he's decent. But if you jump over to his stats and look at Real Sociedad, 26 goals, 76 appearances. He's scoring in a third of his matches. Actually, that's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. My thing is, though, every time that he plays against Barcelona, I'm unimpressed. And that's my gauge. If you can play against Barcelona and you perform well and I see some things that impress me, then, yeah, I'll get excited about it. Like, who was it? Who's Benfica's striker? Darwin Núñez. Dude, Darwin Núñez. I would not mind picking up this gentleman. He tore us up. 6'2", 22 years old, Uruguayan. Let's see what his wiki page looks like for stats. Okay, not as good. Look at me. Using stats against myself. So that's why you can't always rely on the stats. Isaac has scored in a third of his goals, except every time I see him play, not impressed. Núñez here has only scored in, a little bit less than a third. 10 goals in 35 appearances, so that's still pretty close. And at Almeria, he played it out. Jump back over here. Wait just a second here. Because Almeria, interesting. Spanish football club based in Almeria, yada, yada, yada. Are they in, what division are they? Segunda division. Okay, so played in the Segunda division last year. But look at that, guys. Whoops, that's way too much. 16 goals in 30 appearances. Oh, it's off screen. You can't really see that. How about that? That'll help you out. 16 goals, 30 appearances. That is not too bad at all. Benfica, 10 and 35. It's at a higher level. But when he played against Barcelona, I was very impressed. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that I care a little bit more about the way that they play and what I pick up from them live as opposed to the stats that we see taken away. FIFA Clasher, what's up, dude? Says, who should we get in the January for Barca? Nobody. We shouldn't sign anybody. Our signings, I think it was mentioned earlier on, our signings for this year, our new players in January, can be Dembele and Aguero. and a 90-minute match fit Ansu Fati. It's going to take some time. I know we are a couple months away, but we have yet to have the full squad for Barcelona. So I'm not worried about making any signings. I'm not worried about bringing in anybody on loan. I would like a healthy Barcelona squad so we can actually assess where we are. If I was going to bring in a player, a striker, a defensive mid would be fantastic. It's not really a priority for me. Priority is keeping the wage bill as low as we possibly can so that we can start fixing our finances, and then we can move forward. That's the plan. Stop spending money. Grim says maybe it's because Sociedad suck because he always steals the show for Sweden. Possibly. That is kind of one of the realities of being a striker, is that you do rely on the service a lot of times. So if you're playing for a club that doesn't have a strong midfield, doesn't have some creative players that can create those opportunities for you to capitalize on, then yeah, so fair point, Grim. Levi asked Donny van de Beek if he was available. Sure, I would take him. I wouldn't say no, but at this point, I'm hesitant to bring in any midfielder that isn't going to be here long term. So if we brought in someone like a Donny van de Beek on loan, I think that would actually be more disruptive. Here's what I'm saying. Right now, Barcelona need to focus on building for the future. We're not going to win much this year. So why sacrifice playing time for some of our youth players in favor of someone who's going to come in on loan and then leave, I say we don't do that. Keep doubling down on Gavi, Pedri, Nico. Get Ricky Puig in there. I want to see what the midfield looks like with De Jong at center mid and the youngsters in front of him. If Adani Van de Beek comes in, that's another person that you have to consider about playing time. He's already not getting playing time at United, so he's not going to be happy. We might even make some promises if we do bring him over here. Again, this year is about keeping the wage bill low, fixing the finances best we can, and investing in our youth. That's the plan for this season. So let's keep the focus on that. Let's try to be optimistic about the future of Barcelona and be patient about the current state while we work some things out. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah, fair point, Levi, fair point. Where are Sociedad in the table right now? I know it's early in the season, but still. They're in third place. Let's take a look at what kind of lineup they have, because Levi's right. They do have a better lineup than what I thought. Alenia, Sandro, that's Hatafe, sorry. Yeah, I always say his name wrong. Oyazabal. I always say that wrong. It's Americans. We just can't speak other languages. Terrible. Looks like he didn't get the start, though. Alexander Isaac did come off the bench, but did not get the start. Interesting. So, I don't know, folks. I don't know. We do need a number 9. That is for sure. It would have been nice if Luis Suarez had the same motivation at Barcelona that he does at Atletico Madrid, but unfortunately for Luis Suarez to actually get off his butt and lose that extra 10 pounds that he was carrying at Barcelona, we had to cut him. That was the only thing that sparked this turnaround for Luis Suarez. I'm not saying he wasn't scoring goals, but late in the Champions League against elite competition, he wasn't doing anything. Nothing at all. 'Tis what it is. What else we got? Kudus, I love you, buddy. What about Vlahovic? Apparently negotiating have fallen apart with Fiorentina. We're not bringing in any big names. Does his contract end this year? I'm not super familiar with it. I think it's probably up at the end of this year, I would assume. Either way, we need to cool our expectations on bringing in any big names right now. We need to, like I said, be focused on the youth, focus on getting them the experience that they need, and not being focused on current results. As frustrating as they may be. Levi says, I've been playing FIFA career mode with Barcelona, and I have found some more respect for Coleman. This team is hard to play with. Levi, wow. Thank you, brother, for that acknowledgement. It is a video game, but yeah. It's not the 2008 Barcelona. It's not the 2011 Barcelona. It's not the 2015 Barcelona. It's just not. We have to acknowledge that. We have to live in that reality so that our expectations can be in alignment so that we're not constantly disappointed. That's what we need to do, folks. I've said this before. I'll say it a million times again. Disappointment, frustration comes when expectations are in a misalignment with reality. So we need to just acknowledge where we are right now as a club, as a community, and everything's going to be all right. I'd still put us in the top 10 in Europe, arguably, but still put us in the top 10. We're very distant from the top 3 to 5, I would say. But we're still here, and we have a plan. Like I said, fix the finances. While we're doing that, invest in the youth. Once those two have kind of come together, we'll be able to look at a different manager, with all respect to Ronald Koeman for being here and doing what he's doing for the club. And then, once we do those, we fix the finances, we got a good core youth, we bring in a new manager, then we will bring in that superstar signing that puts us over the top, that gets us back in contention for Champions League titles. That's what we're talking about. Messi says the only thing we need is a fast striker. That is one of the things that we need. We also need a truly defensive mid with pace, someone with some tenacity, even if it's someone that comes off the bench. An Arturo Vidal, a Mascherano. That's what we're looking for. We need some teeth in the midfield. Even if it's just late in the game, 15 minutes left and we're up by a goal, who do we bring on defensively right now? Who's that player? Right now, it would be Nico. And I don't have a lot of faith in him coming on as that holding defensive mid. He just doesn't have the experience yet. That's all. It's not a talent issue. It's an experience issue. So with that said, maybe we do just start giving him that experience. Well, it is what it is, folks. We are where we are. What's the saying in Spanish? Eso sí que es. It is what it is. Eso sí que es. For all my Spanish speakers out there. Eso sí que es, mi amigos. Let's see here. Levi asked, should we swap Coutinho for someone? I will admit I'm starting to lose faith in Coutinho. He had an excellent match against Levante, but that's really been it so far. He's coming back from injury. We're not playing with the full squad. I want to give him every opportunity we can before moving on. He has not played with the full Barcelona lineup yet, so I would like to see him with a healthy Ansu, with Memphis out there, with Dembele out there, with Aguero available. I know that's already too much offense if you include Coutinho as well, but I'm a huge Coutinho fan, I guess, at the end of the day. So I am a little bit biased towards keeping him at Barcelona. I would like to see him do well at this club as opposed to moving on somewhere else. Grim says, imagine if Newcastle becomes a better team than Barca in the next few years. We're starting from arguably the same place, except they have way more money. Factor that in. It's very possible. We could wake up next year, 2 years, and Newcastle are right there in contention in Champions League. It's very possible. Levi says, in FIFA, Busquets is hard to play with. Yeah, Busquets is not his skills do not translate to FIFA. I could say that. Busquets' skills do not translate to FIFA. Ovi, good morning, sir. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Swap Coutinho for Rodri. Could be interesting. Here's the thing. Spain did well with Busquets and Rodri kind of sharing that defensive mid role. I'd rather just see that be De Jong, though. And again, ultimately, I keep circling back to this. I keep circling back to it. The answer right now, the solution that we have available, is rotate in Gavi and Ricky Puig and Nico. That's the solution. De Jong, Pedri, Busquets, that's obviously the starting three for right now for this season. The more that we can let Busquets rest and rotate in Nico, Gavi, Ricky Puig, that's the solution, folks. That's what we need to be doing. Amber says Rodri could be an amazing signing, to be honest. Sure, I don't hate the idea. Spanish, so he'd be familiar with La Liga. He's been being coached under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola. So sure. Kuda says Coutinho has always been streaky. I agree with that. Even going back to the Liverpool days, it was hot and cold a lot of times. Austin says Barca will always attract the best players. I agree. I hope that is true. It's tough to say always, but I do think that Barcelona is still a top destination just historically because of the prestige. So if you look at someone like a Haaland, he may want to come to Barcelona just to be the guy who rejuvenates the club, to be the new face, to be the next Messi. I know we have Ansu Fati and some others in contention for being the next face of Barcelona. De Jong, Gavi has that opportunity potentially. So we've got some things to be excited about here, but Yeah, I agree with you that Barcelona is still a top destination. Thrawn says Busquets is a monster at Spain and in Barcelona. Listen, Busquets is an absolute legend. He's never gotten the credit that he deserves. My nephew Ayush actually sent me something on Instagram today that he had never made it into the top 20 of the Ballon d'Or, but then all of a sudden Jorginho is being just hailed as the greatest center midfielder of all time. It could be because around Busquets was Xavi, Iniesta, Lionel Messi. So those three were constantly being promoted for Ballon d'Or. So maybe that takes away votes from Sergi Busquets. But the facts are he just never really got the recognition that he's deserved. You know, even you look at someone like Conte. Conte gets way more praise, way more respect than Sergi Busquets. And I'm not talking about just right now. I'm talking about in Sergio Busquets' prime. Prime Sergio Busquets. Always overshadowed by the rest of the midfield and the Barcelona attack. And the defense. Piqué, Puyol, Dani Alves, Jordi Alba, Eric Abidal at times. So it's easy to get overshadowed. It's kind of like being, for those of you that watch American football, it's kind of like being that offensive lineman. You're doing the hard work. If you're not doing your job, everybody knows it. But when you are doing your job, nobody notices. That's kind of the Sergi Busquets role. It's gets the least amount of gratitude, the least amount of attention, but it's one of the most important positions on that pitch. That pivot player, that defensive mid that can turn defense into offense. That's been Sergio Busquets for the last 12 years or so. So he is an absolute legend at this club, and he deserves more recognition than what he's gotten. Levi says Coutinho was the worst transfer in the history of football. That's an exaggeration. There have been worse transfers. Jorginho got carried in CL by Conte. I wouldn't say that. I mean, give Jorginho his credit, but he's no Sergio Busquets. Levi says it's because Conte plays in England and we speak English, so we're going to hear about him more than the Spanish stars. Fair point. Ovi says, I'm sure if we take an IQ test, Busquets will score above 140. He's a genius with the ball. Man just lacks pace. Yes, I agree with that as well. That's a good point, Ovi. And I would say that his genius makes up for his lack of pace most of the time. My one complaint, and unfortunately it's a big hole, is that on the counterattack, when we lose the ball in the attacking third, if our opponent, I should say, switches the side of the field in the counterattack, Busquets can't get sideline to sideline. He just doesn't have that pace. Austin says Newcastle takeover is a blessing for us. We can give away Umtiti, Langley, and Coutinho for around $70 million. Potentially. We'll see what happens. Apparently Newcastle was looking for a left foot center back. Langley fits the bill there. Levi, I would argue that Griezmann was actually a worse signing than Coutinho. Greg says, in terms of Italy, yes, Jorginho is the key man, but for how they play, for Chelsea, you could say that Conte is more important to them. I would probably agree with that. I think people look at Jorginho because he gives a little bit more on the attacking side as well. Amber says we should buy younger players like Dani Almo, Yori Nator from Shakhtar. Yeah, we right now can't be buying anyone. We have to invest in our youth players. But the time will come. Give it a year or two. We got to keep our wage bill as low as we can so that we can get our finances back in order so that we can then look to the transfer market. But right now, it's really about getting our youth as much playing time and experience as we can. Thrawn says, it's just like Maradona said, if you do something well in Premier League, you get praised like a legend. Or something I forgot. I'm sure it's not just Maradona. I'm sure other people have said that over the years. Premier League gets a lot of attention. And I think it was Levi who just said there is that language barrier. So a lot of people that are covering news and headlines in La Liga, they're not speaking English. So interesting. Which actually, now that I think about it, I wonder, should I be doing more of bringing up articles and just reading through a few of the paragraphs and then reacting like that, because I wonder if there's people who maybe don't read English all that well, but they can hear it a little bit better. I don't know if that would make sense. For me, it's the opposite. For Spanish, for example, I can read Spanish pretty well. I have a hard time hearing it. So maybe that doesn't make sense. Don't know. Either way, if you're watching this later, let me know. What's going to become of Pjanic? I would assume someone's going to buy him. There's no way he could come back to the club, right? Oh, I see what you did there, Umber. I see what you did there. That's good. That's good. Yeah, you got me. I do get caught on those on occasion. I avoided one yesterday. Not yesterday, on Monday. I forget what it was, but fair play. Anyway, Jason, no problems. Got to go to school. Actually, I got to get things going too, folks. I got to get my work day going. It's an office day for me, so no hanging out. Got to get up, get moving. So thank you all for coming and hanging out with me, catching up on the headlines, having some conversation as we start our day. That's what we do here on Wake Up in Barca. Wake Up in Barca is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on the Undefeated channel. We get to connect with Culers from around the world for conversation, catch up on the news, but we're here to support each other, make sure that we are all doing all right during these crazy times with everything going on in the world, particularly with Barcelona resetting. It can be frustrating. So it's good to have this community to fall back on, to have as that support, to particularly to start the day. It's a wonderful way to start the day. Have a little bit of coffee, a little conversation with the Stash Squad. So I'll say, if this is your first time, welcome. This is your invitation to join the Undefeated community. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel so you can take part in the conversation, and then come hang out with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Wake Up in Barca. It's 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Convert that for your time zone, because we got Culers from around the world. And then every match day, we will be here live for Barcelona. I will provide the live commentary, the score, the time, all the updates so you don't miss any of the action. And more importantly, we will have the chat going live so you can ask me questions. We'll have some good conversation while we watch Barcelona all season long right here on the Undefeated channel. Once again, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in and taking a ride. I'll see y'all next time. Mwah.